Today I want to share with you some wellness and fitness strategies that have helped me feel like I'm aging in reverse. Whereas when I work with weight loss clients, I would normally address their existing lifestyle and start applying changes in this order. First of all, lifestyle, stress, nutrition, movement, and exercise. However, when I deal with clients whose priority is to feel like they're rejuvenating, I do things in a slightly different order. I still pay attention to all of them because everything needs to be in place. However, when we're dealing with aging in reverse, exercise actually should probably be your priority. Why is that? Because as we get older, we lose muscle naturally through the process of sarcopenia. It's very slow. However, when you look at it in the context of maybe 10 or 20 years, that loss of muscle can be significant. And you know this is happening because if you used to be strong and have perhaps a slightly angular figure, you suddenly look softer. Even if you haven't changed anything else, you're no longer as strong and it takes you longer to recover from your workouts. So let's put exercise first, and specifically weightlifting, resistance training, because we need to make sure we don't lose that muscle. The heavier you lift, the easier it's going to be to achieve this goal. When you build muscle, your metabolism also stays elevated, and therefore it helps you burn fat even when you're not doing anything. Focus on lower body exercises. If you can't do anything else, we can only do a small amount of exercise on any given day. Start with your lower body because that's where the biggest muscle groups are. Don't neglect the upper body and your core and your back, because obviously they're all important to keep you in balance and make sure you have the strength to cope with everyday life demands. And then once you make time in your schedule for exercise, and you're probably going to find that the older you get, the more you have to actually exercise in small chunks, because exercise is stressful for the body and we only have a small window of opportunity where we can use that stress to our benefit. So you get more out of your workouts if you keep them short, sharp and intense rather than going on for hours and hours on end. And if you happen to attend a class where you're learning a skill, you want to make sure that you have lots of rests in between stints of when you're active. Once you got your exercise figured out, it's time to look at how much you move every day. Moving is slightly different than exercising, and in my world, it includes things like walking or gardening or doing the chores around the house. And why is that important? Because those are the movements that you do every day, and those are the little things that keep your joints supple. If that's an area where you struggle, you want to make sure that in your exercise and movement routines, you also include some mobility drills and for stretching. They don't have to happen all at the same time. You can do your workout, go for a walk, come back, do some mobility drills, for example. So you do something intense, something that's for recovery, and then you go back to doing something that a little bit more intense than the recovery, but not so intense that you're going to need to recover from it again. And maybe at the end of your mobility drills and workout, exercise, whatever you want to call it, you can do some stretching, and therefore you covered all angles with regards to your physical. The next thing you want to look at is your nutrition to support your exercise efforts, because we are building muscle and we are definitely trying not to lose muscle. So we need to make sure that it's not as much what you eat, which is obviously important, but is when you eat it. Because again, we need to be aware of all the chemical reactions that happen when we exercise and how we can capitalize on those reactions to give us the results that we want. Once you got all this stuff under control, then yes, by all means, you need to definitely look at your sleep and your stress management. I mean, sleep is the best for everything. It's the best detox, it's the best tool for stress management. Once you optimize your sleep, finding the time and the space where you can sleep uninterrupted for a good 7 to 9 hours is different for everybody, how much sleep we need. The important thing is that you give yourself enough time to complete all the sleep cycles that we need to go through to optimize our health. When you do this, you will find that your stress levels will be under control and you're going to wake up feeling refreshed, energized, and literally you're going to spring out of bed. You're not going to have any pains, any aches, you're not going to be stiff. That's when you know you're successful. If that is not enough, and if you have a very stressful lifestyle, then we also need to look at what happens in your life and how many things we can let go of that are causing us stress. There are lots of things that you can do on your own to keep your stress levels under control. That could be simple things like disconnecting from social media, for starters, turning your phone off. Maybe you just need to go for a walk in nature, sit outside in the sun when it makes an appearance, chill out, meditate, listen to music, and one of my favorite, dancing around the room or playing with your pets. Unless they are a pain in the arse and they cause you even more stress, then leave the pets alone. Just lock them out. There you have it. As you can see, the strategies are very simple but are very effective, and they will help you kickstart the process of aging in reverse. Obviously, there is a lot more to it than I can go into in this short video, but start here and you will see already a huge difference in a relatively short space of time. And by that, we're talking about weeks and perhaps months. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you know when I upload my next video.